Live. Oh boy. What a morning, guys. What a morning. Good morning. Good morning, and welcome back to Coffee with Night. I have no idea what's going on these last couple days with my technology. Apparently, I was streaming for 24 hours according to YouTube. Don't know how that happened. So, let's get this, oh boy, let's get the share around. And then I'll tell you my recent round of technical difficulties with YouTube and my computer, and we'll see what's going on. So I actually overslept this morning. I woke up like 7 minutes ago. Oh, geez. Happy May Day. Wow. Right, shared to Nightsmith. Click. Ah, boy. So, yeah, I barely slept last night. Barely slept, and I barely, yeah, I had weird dreams too. Weird dreams. Shared over there. Let's go to Twitter. Come on. And there's a tweet. All right. Hide show. All right. Let's pop out the chat. There's a few people in the room. 3 people in here with us. So, good morning, guys. Here's some coffee with a generous helping of Bailey's in there for me this morning. I believe I'm going to need it. Come on. Wow, everything is just not happy with me. Now, I don't understand why. Like, come on, dude. I just wanna talk to people. I don't know. Okay, so chat. There's people in the chat, so let me get this loaded in and working. Control V. Okay. All right. Well, that's working. So let's hop over to the chat screen, and we will get this guy rolling. Okay. All right. So let's see. Good morning, Joey. Good morning, Laura. And good morning, Eileen. You ever drink Bailey's from a shoe? No, because I'm not old Greg. Alright, so in addition to barely waking up this morning, I had my computer turned off because that wind yesterday was so insane that we started losing power and stuff and getting power surges. And frying my machine was the last thing on my to-do list. So there's that. Overslept this morning, went to turn it on, and found out that I was live streaming for the last 24 some hours, which was interesting. What's your workout regimen? Right now, barely anything. I try to do P90X as often as I can, but I'm not like crazy into their schedule. And I use my child to do skull crushers, and he has an absolute blast with it. I use him to do skull crushers and military presses. So I do those. I do those workouts, the P90X workouts. They're very intensive, and I enjoy them. I hate them while I'm doing them. I enjoy them when I'm finished. So I do them as often as I can, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And good morning, Dan. Thanks for joining us again this morning. So yeah, Google signed me out for God knows what reason and refused to let me back in, so I couldn't even turn off the live stream. Clearly, I got everything worked out the right way. What's my diet like? Chaotic. I try to limit sweets and stuff. Clearly, it's not working because I'm having my Baileys. But for the most part, I generally tend to limit sweets. I've almost completely cut out sugar from my diet, or not sugar, soda from my diet. I'm trying to be as diligent as I can about certain things because I do want to lose weight, and I want to be here for the long haul for my kid. So, you know, I try and follow their regimen as I can. If not, I try and stick to something that's generally healthy. I still need to make that video for, I can't really make it till we get back to the apartment, but these meatballs I made are kick ass. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm down like 35 pounds over the last 5 months, I think. Haven't weighed myself in a while, but it's kind of interesting watching all my clothes just get loose on me. Like this used to be like really tight. So it's nice watching clothes get loose for a variety of reasons. And that is one benefit I think of this whole lockdown thing is I have the time to sit down and actually try things and work on my diet and cook every meal for myself, and it's really nice having all these home cooked meals and having the time to do it. Have you ever tried fasting? Not intentionally. But there are some times when I go, I usually don't eat breakfast. Sometimes I don't eat lunch. And depending on where I am mentally, sometimes I go 2 or 3 days without eating. Not intentionally. It's just I get so wrapped up in my own brain that I forget to eat. So it's not something I do intentionally, but it does happen intermittently, very intermittently, but it does happen. In one of what's people there, Joey. Intermittent fasting has a huge thing for me, shedding weight. Actually, Joe, that I haven't said anything to you about that yet, but you have lost a shit ton of weight since last time I saw you in person. I was just looking at your Facebook profile 2 days ago or something. I was like, holy damn. And you did lose a ton of weight, so good for you, buddy. So intermittent fasting, yeah, I mean, it can be a very beneficial thing. It's just with my lifestyle, it's not something that's very easy to accomplish, but I should try it. About 150 pounds. Wow, dude, good for you. Good for you, Joe. That's awesome. Oh boy. Let's see. No, I just got like 6 notifications for a thread I was following. A friend of mine. She was asking about PETA. I hate those people. I don't want to get too much into it, but fuck PETA. Blunt Skippy on that. Dan, yeah, getting stoned makes fasting rough. You mean the poorly educated teenage activists? I mean their entire movement is just laced with horrible people. They actually the founder. Let me pull it up here. Because I guess we're gonna get into PETA today. This is a real dark side moment. Straight from Ingrid Newkick's mouth. They don't want any service animals to be used, and if they can, they want them to be euthanized because they were trained. They wanted to euthanize the pit bulls that Michael Vick was torturing, and all pit bulls. Let's see. They also believe that everyone who uses any animal byproducts for survival should just die. And if you're not familiar, most insulin is bovine insulin. So that one really hits hard to me because my grandfather was a diabetic for 50 some years. And there's a lot of people I care about in my life that are diabetics. I could probably name 20, 30 people. And yeah. So I'm a huge animal rights activist, but I still eat meat. I believe, and I mean, clearly I work with leather. I believe that you should treat an animal. I mean, we're still humans. We're still going to eat meat. But I believe we should treat the animals right. Give them a good life. Give them a quick death. And don't waste product. PETA is evil. Yeah, that's it. That's as far as I'm going with that. Dan, I'm gonna go do some bicep curls. Be back in a bit. Alright, see you when you get back. Yeah, my bad. I have a lot of opinions about them. Yeah, me too. I have a lot of very strong opinions that might get me kicked off YouTube if I start espousing them. Or lose me a good chunk of followers at the very least. But yeah, don't like PETA. Not a fan. Right, I take a very Native American approach to animal rights. So do I. I am not a large part, but I am part Native American, and that is one part of my heritage that I do believe very fully. All right. So hopefully all the heavy stuff is out of the way. Do you know what tribe you come from, Joe? Tracing my family back, I've come from the Blackfoot tribe, which is way up in the Blackfoot Hills near, it's on my father's side as well. So yeah, up Blackfoot Hills, Blackfoot tribe, up near the border of Canada. I think it's kind of like North Dakota somewhere. Can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's Blackfoot tribe. Joey, same on Dad's side. He doesn't remember the tribe, but he knows he's got some blood in him. Good, cool. Any projects for the day, Eileen? Not really. I need to go get some moleskins. I thought I had some here. So I'm going to run up to the apartment real quick, grab some moleskins, see how much damage there is there. Hopefully it hasn't gotten too much worse, but it's been pouring rain the last 24 hours. So I'm sure it's not any better. But I'm going to grab some moleskins, check that stuff out. Let's see. Dan, my culture dating back to the Vikings used every piece of the animal kill as well. Same. Hey, Izzy. I'm in the middle of a live stream, but I'll feed you later. I'll feed you when I'm done. Parents' cat, Izzy. Come on. Sit. Pop up, say hello to people. Come on. Izzy. The most lovable psychopathic killer you'll ever meet. I have crazy stories about this cat. Good cat. Very friendly. Usually an outdoor cat, but the weather's, even since winter, the weather's been so nasty that we let her inside. Same on my dad's side. Also have a very strong Viking heritage. Dan, I'm Danish. And the cool thing, if you remember, that's where oh, come on. Huge brain fart, guys. But that's where a lot of very important sagas come from. Including Beowulf. And that's coincidentally, that's where my red beard comes from. My mom doesn't remember which tribe it is. Cat. Oh, look at that cat. She looks my Janie. Yeah, she is a great cat, guys. But she's an absolute psychopath. She goes after small things a lot. She goes after like birds and hummingbirds, squirrels, and chipmunks and stuff. Haven't seen any rabbits since we got her. She was just picked up off the side of the road, half dead, like most of our cats. And she turned out fantastic. A little TLC and a little training, and one of the best cats we've ever had. But this cat here, now, I don't know if you guys know, but my parents have a flock of chickens. Sometimes she gets on the roof to scout out prey and stuff. This fucking cat dove off the roof after a chicken hawk that was coming in after our chickens. How cool is that? I don't think she would have, I don't know if she would have known what to do once she got the hawk. But, there we go. Good cat. What else was there? There's another great story about her. This cat caught a chipmunk once. And my parents' front yard, it's kind of just a big block over where the septic field is, and we have a couple, we have the backyard fenced in, and there's a couple hazelnut bushes in the front yard, just basically for privacy, but also for hazelnuts, because delicious. I once saw her catch a chipmunk. She took him out in the middle of the yard, was fucking with him a little bit, and let him go. She laid down and watched him run to the first hazelnut bush, to the second, to the third, and by the time he was trying to jump to the fence, she got him again. And she did that like 5 or 6 times. And I was just sitting there watching, like, oh my god, this cat is insane. And by the end of it, the poor chipmunk was just begging for its life and just kind of like clinging to her chest and stuff. And she just kind of flicked it off with disgust and walked away. Like, absolute psycho. But, yeah. So, awesome cat. We have a lot more fruit and blueberries and stuff and strawberries because of this cat. I guarantee it. We have 2 cats. The other one's a complete gremlin. Doesn't come inside because she pisses on everything, but so she's an outdoor cat. Pretty much lives in our shed. Sweetest cat on earth, but you barely see that thing. Big fat cat too. Like, I don't know how she gets so fat because we don't feed her. But hey, do you want toast from the bread you made? I would love some toast from that bread, Michaela. Thank you. So, yeah, there's Izzy. And she's down here pretty much every day with me while I'm talking to you guys and working on some leather stuff. I don't know if she will be able to get the toast out to you today, Eileen. Ooh! That was loud, sorry. Sorry, Izzy. Sorry, guys. Good news. Alright, I ordered a ton of shit from Weaver Leathercraft last night. I think I told you that I was going to do this yesterday. Some of you may have known, whatever. You know, I paid a little bit more, got the 1-day shipping just so I would have new stuff to show off to you guys for tomorrow. It's already in Pittston. I checked the tracker last night, or this morning at like 4 in the morning, and it was in Indianapolis, Indiana. Like, why would you go from Ohio to Indiana to come back to PA? But it's out for delivery in Pittston. I just looked at it like right before they started. So, super excited. Got more leather coming and a couple tools, some edge bevelers, some gum trag. I got a slicker, new thread, new needles. So hopefully these needles will work better with the 3mm punches that I have. I'm excited. We got the 0.6mm Riza thread, which is supposed to have some amazing, real amazing colors in it. Right now, I just got the standard black, brown, white because I'm completely out of what I have, and I don't want to start getting all these crazy colors until I have, until I know that they work well. But it's the 0.6mm thread with the number 18 John James needles, so they should work much easier. Let's see, would you like coffee as well? Yes, please. I'm running out very quickly here. And can you throw in about a shot and a half, 2 shots of Bailey's? And the fridge, the one that's lying down, is mine. Please? This is gonna be a good morning, guys. Much better than yesterday. And I was able to take my put my contacts in last night. So my account to sign in. Let's see where it is. Where is the Weaver? Sign in. You got it, dude. Alright, little Olsen. Come on, where is my stuff? The soft shirts for the prototype merch. You got them in? Eileen, you got the shirts in? That's awesome. And Veil is super soft. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Anvil shirts then. How do they feel as far as the cut though? because like the shirt I got for my merch, or for my first Nightsmith shirt, when I stood up, it would ride up on my stomach. And I got the 2X, so it should have more than covered. So I want something that's gonna, like, even like for someone that's a little bit larger, like this shirt. Come on, move. Like this shirt, if you see, it actually comes down to my waist or my hips, as opposed to the other one, which kind of sat just underneath my navel. Because here's the thing, I want the merch not just to be something that people buy because it has, because it's Nightsmith. Once I get these done, I'll be sending them so you can test them out. So cool, guys! I'm so excited. I am so excited. But I want these shirts not to just be something that you're gonna buy just to support me, even though. Thank you. I want you to buy them. Got stuck on a piece of leather. And I actually want you to wear them because they're comfortable and they feel good and they fit nice. Excited. Best news all morning. You should throw up some pictures on the internets. Maybe throw on throw a few on the Nightsmith Facebook group as well. Let's see. Bella Canvas shirts are soft too, but not as soft as Anvil and Veil. So you can make the choice. Cool. Yes, I am very excited. Very excited. Stuff is happening. Also, yesterday I was in the process of speaking of merch and all this stuff. I was in the process of starting to work on the new website prototype, or the new website and stuff, and I was starting to get confused. And then with the way everything was going yesterday, I couldn't. I just couldn't, so I walked away. I was getting confused and more upset than I had any reason to get upset over trying to figure out something new. So I just walked away. But that should be in the works very, very soon. Hopefully it'll be up and running by Monday. And yeah, hopefully that's going well. Let's see, I got a message from Miss Lara. Oh no, she's not feeling well, guys. Hope you feel better soon. That is not fun to hear. Let's see. Will post once I get them done. I'm dog sitting, so it might not be today. That's okay. You take your time. I am excited for them to. I'm excited to see them. I'm excited to try them out and post them and talk about them and exhibit them and everything else. I am excited. I think there are so many cool things that are going to be happening in the very near future. I'm very excited about all of it. Yeah. I am just left Pittston, which means it's going to be here probably in like 2.5, 3 hours. So yeah, super excited. Rich went, ooh, that's soft. Well, here's the thing. If Rich thinks it's soft, he seems to be the aficionado of soft t-shirts, or not the aficionado, the connoisseur of t-shirts. So I think I'm probably gonna have to go with his assessment, at least for now. So excited! Ooh, that's going to be one I have to watch later. How to find gusset length and precise and pre-punching stitching holes. Let's see. I like this part of the research. Awesome. Look horrible, everyone, so don't expect the beauty queen to walk on the screen. Fair warning. Michaela, you're always gorgeous. So this morning is a complete departure from the shit show that yesterday was, and I am loving it. I think today's going to be a much, much better day. Izzy, come here. You're going to get hit by the door. Izzy, come here. There you go. That's a good kitty. It's cool. She's been hanging out with me like every day, waiting for her, or watching me like do leather work and stuff. I love this cat. Izzy, come on. You're going to get hit. I told you. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you. Ooh, a lot of Baileys in there. Very excited. Say hello to everyone.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What?
Sleeping baby.
Yes. Oh, at least my kiddo's sleeping now. Normally, by this time, he's up and screaming and everything else. I think he's going through a growth spurt. I told you, she's beautiful regardless. She can wake up with a rat's nest of hair and be just gorgeous. But yeah, his joints have been all cracky recently, and he's been so angry with everything and not sleeping well this last like week and a half. I think he's just going through a wicked growth spurt. But there's something special about eating food that you made yourself. Crunchy. A lot of Baileys in there. All right. Yeah, so I'm getting that stuff in. I'm going to the apartment, grabbing some moleskins. And apparently I have a video to watch. A very informative video that I don't know quite the answer yet to. All my patterns, like for the SD card holder and stuff, have been fairly straightforward, just flat patterns, flat seams. Even the Dice Vault flat seams, and the two Plague Doctor mask things have been what you call it. Those were patterns I just bought. Well, the little one was a free pattern from Dieselpunk, which if you guys are interested in leather work and stuff, go check him out. Dieselpunk, on YouTube. Really, I mean, he's a little abrasive to his viewers, but I think it's funny. I enjoy that kind of that kind of banter and stuff. But he is really good at telling you different things, different techniques. I like watching him and Chuck Dorset over at Weather Leathercraft. While I don't like Chuck's style of speech, it's very repetitive. in his vernacular. And it's a little dorky. He is very, very informative and very knowledgeable, and he shows things in a very simple way. So between those two, they account for a good chunk of my leatherworking knowledge. And that's how you just learn. You read as much as you can. You watch videos. You go on forums, and then you go to the analog, because there's only so much you can learn before you have to put it into practice. So, if you guys are interested at all in leatherwork and actually doing it for yourself, go check out, go to Weaver Leathercraft and check out Chuck Dorsett's videos, and then go over to Dieselpunk. I forget the guy's name, but check out his stuff too, because they are both, between the two of them, they are fantastic teachers. So there are 5 people in here with us still. So who else is in here? Say hi if you're still in here. Bum, 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 bum. So Eileen, I kind of know what you're doing today. What is everybody else doing for their day? Do you guys have any projects and anything going on? Oh, dropping stuff. And we lost someone. So what does everyone have going on for the day? It seems like it's going to be a beautiful day to do some inside work. Doing more research on thermochromatic paint versus ink and what might be best. And Joey is trying to muster up the energy to put Christmas decorations away. Yeah, it's probably about time to do that. I think for the for the Dark Side of Nightsmith mugs. Okay, I was doing dishes. Dishes are always good. Probably sweep the bedroom. Always a good thing to do. They've been in the dining room table for over a year. Well, yeah, it's time to put things away. I assume. But as far as the Dark Side of Nightsmith mugs, I'm not sure how we're gonna do that coloration, because everything I've seen on the thermochromatic, it's visible when it's cold. So we're gonna have to find some way to cover it up. Use regular ink for the saying, and then maybe cover it with the thermochromatic ink. Ooh. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all how we're going to do that. So I'm going to leave that up to you. And I think I might even do a thing where I give you almost complete control of the merch after we get set up and running, and whatever you think is best as far as promoting it and whatever designs you're going to do, because you're going to be doing all the work. You're going to be doing, you're going to be the one making them and shipping them, and it's going to show a bit. Well, yeah, you can only do so much. You can only do what you can do, and I think it's more the idea than the. I'll show you a pic of his mug. Yeah. You can only do so much, and then we'll figure it out from there. But I think I'll have you in charge of. Once we're all set up, I'll have you in charge of all the merch and stuff, because you're going to be the one shipping it out. You're going to be the one doing whatever. So you'll probably be the one coming up with whatever sayings or designs or whatever, and on whatever schedule you think is appropriate, because you're going to be making probably the bulk of the money off of it as well. So I think that's how I'm going to want to run that one. And of course, I'm going to have to put something like, produced by Porst Rich Designs, and a link to your website on there as well, because you got to support people who are around you. I guess I need to make a website. Yeah, you probably will soon. Well, you could probably just get away for a while, at least, just with the Facebook group, I'm thinking. You could probably just get away with the Facebook group, and I could link to your Facebook page, and we could work from there. I don't know why, but I am so congested today. But yeah, we could probably, just get away with sending you to the Facebook group where you do your stuff. Because I'm looking at dropping like $300 today or tomorrow on my website. So it's going to be a pretty big investment for me, straight investment for me. So I wouldn't start worrying about your website or anything like that until we get a pretty good. Well, if you want to come in, just come in. You have a cat door. I wouldn't worry about making that sort of an investment yet. Right now I'd be more invested in tools, techniques, and peripherals, like your light box. That's where you should be putting all your money right now. For me, it was like 3 years after I started Knightsmith before I even got on Facebook for it. It was all just word of mouth stuff. which you're finding out is working out pretty well for you. Yeah, it was years until I even got on Facebook, and then another year or two until I started branching out from there. So yeah, you don't need a website right now. Normally I'd say do all the things, but everyone's working with finite time, finite information, finite money, so you got to work within those confines until you start building yourself up. And you need to have some sort of influx first before you start pouring out money, especially money going out on a regular basis for your business. Like you're gonna have monthly or yearly charges for a website. You're gonna have yearly charges for your domain and registration and all that happy horse shit. So I'd focus on Facebook, on doing YouTube for you, and put all your money and most of your time and energy into tools, techniques, materials, learning. And then just sell as much as you can on the side. But most of your time should be spent learning right now, because whether you fail or succeed, you can't lose that information, that experience. So that's where you should be working on bolstering yourself up as much as possible. But since I'm kind of walking you through a lot of things step by step, you'll have a pretty good idea of what not to do when it comes time to get a website and everything else together. So hopefully that little ramble helped. So today's Friday. That means tomorrow is the giveaway. I'll have new materials, new tools here tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing a bit of a show and tell and my normal 20-minute preamble before we start getting into the brunt of the work. But it's always more fun when there are more people here. More people talking, more people chatting, more people to blather with. And then also more people to give me their input on what to do, how to make it. And it's also more exciting when there's like 10 or 20 people in here and they're all throwing out numbers. Trying to get the thing that I just made. So let everyone know tomorrow is the giveaway. Tomorrow is the day. If you're not here, Monday through Friday, that's fine. Come here tomorrow. Stay for the whole thing. It should be a much simpler of a project than the SD card holder. So it should be, it shouldn't be a 4-hour video tomorrow is what I'm trying to say. So get people in here, spread the word, because it's more fun when there's more people. Like, what do we have? Like 10 people, 7 people, 10 people last time. It was an absolute blast. It was so much fun. Let's see. Eileen, thank you, Master Roshi. While I have more hair than him, I can't deny the implications of that. So those are going to be my plans for today, my plans for tomorrow, and I am so excited for what goes on. So I'm going to be sharing this across all my social media, and hopefully we get 10 people, 15 people in there. You're also not a swole old man. Yeah, this is true. I am not the turtle hermit. But I do have some of those other inclinations. All right, guys, I'm gonna cut out for here. Cut out here for today. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining today, especially after yesterday's snafu. Giveaway tomorrow. Tell everyone, sing it from the highest mountains because it's more fun. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you for helping make this world better.